Welcome back to the Premier Challenge. We got Allan Martinez and Jonathan Hernandez, both 2-0. And now going to whoever wins this continues their undefeated streak, 3-0. It's pretty good, isn't it, Pikachu? Yeah, you think so. Anyway, we got some really interesting... Both of these players have really interesting teams. I always love trying to see some rather unusual strategies and some more uncommon Pokemon. And we got a couple on this matchup. Take a look. Especially on Allan's team. He's going to be on your left. He's got the Liepard, Salamence, Nihilego, Tapu Lele, Groudon, and Dawnwing's Necrozma. While Jonathan on your right's got Amoonguss, Tornadus, Kartana, Incineroar, Kyogre, and Xerneas. So I say I like this because Liepard is one of the ones that you do not see very often, but it's actually very, very fun to play. Fake Out, it's very good at support if you can keep it alive. It's got Fake Out usually. It's got Snarl. It's got like a bunch of. It's got Foul Play, so it's a good Dark type counter. A lot of good use against stuff like Lunala, and in general, it's just really fun to see on the field. Kind of like a faster version of Incineroar, but without Intimidate. So definitely very fun. Jonathan's team's got that possible Tornogre combo of Tornadus and Kyogre, and in this case, that's super useful for Hurricane because Hurricane 100% accuracy in the rain, and that's I have a feeling that and also with Tailwind, I have a feeling we might see that combination. Looking at with Allan's team, he's got Salamence, but he also has the Dawnwing's Necrozma, so that combination, it's like they both are good at setting up because you can go in and straight up like threaten with Necrozma or in this case Liepard. Both of them very good. Well, we see Jonathan going for Tornadus and Incineroar. So actually Fake Out instead of Speed, you know. Well, you're going to get one of the two because both Salamence and Tornadus, one of the more common Tailwind setters, and both of them are. And usually you either go for something very fast and strong like either Primal Kyogre or Necrozma, possibly Ultra. If it's Dawnwings, there's a good chance it's Ultra, to just try and threaten the opposing Pokemon to try and get rid of it. Make sure that it doesn't set up Tailwind, or you can get rid of the other one. In this case, or you have this case where you have your two possible Tailwind setters, and we obviously don't know if Salamence or Tornadus is going to use it, but there's a good shot on both of them. And you have your Fake Out users, Liepard and Incineroar. So we're going to see Salamence Mega Evolve, which is extremely common. One of the more useful Mega Evolutions. Obviously you can see by World Championships it definitely is. And we see the Fake Out combo going into kind of an X shape. Both the possible Tailwind setters are gone. Tornadus, with that moving first, definitely means that it, unless the Salamence is extremely slow, means that this Tornadus is going to be using his Prankster ability to set up the Tailwind. Liepard, another thing that's really useful on Liepard though is Taunt, I believe. So I don't know if Liepard has Taunt, but that could definitely threaten Tornadus if it comes in. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see that double Tailwind right off the bat. Just try and go for that. Literally, I mean, at this point, Incineroar's probably got the best spot to attack because if it's carrying Low Kick or even Flare Blitz, it should be able to do a nice amount of damage onto the Liepard and be able to get that, take that Liepard, and we see Taunt actually from Tornadus onto Salamence. So that's another thing. Tornadus has Taunt as well, and Salamence goes for the Tailwind as we saw. Liepard going for Fake Tears, and that is gonna drop Tornadus' special defense by 2. U-turn coming out onto Liepard. That actually does a lot of damage in general. It is weak to the bug attacks, but U-turn being a relatively weak one, still getting it down to just like 25% of health. As we see Kyogre, and now with Kyogre in play, Jonathan has the clear lead here. He's got not only the rain set up for Hurricane, but he also has that Tailwind on this next turn. And the only thing that I think can really stop him right now is if we see Groudon come out, Primal Groudon come out. So that would be like the only thing I think to stop that can stop Jonathan here. Even then, it's a bit tricky. You know, even then, you just go for a... I'm kind of going back and forth with Kyogre here. I don't really know if you go for the... You can go for the Origin Pulse. It's probably good. It's not going to do too much on Salamence, but Origin Pulse or Water Spout, excuse me. Water Spout, and that again, it's not going to do too much on the silence thanks to its resistance, but combo with a Hurricane, it might be able to do enough. Again, if you see Groudon come out, that's unfortunate, but then at the same time, you now know what you're in for, and if you're carrying a different move that's prepared for that, you're good. But we're not going to see any switches in, actually. We're just going to see Tailwind go straight off the bat with Jonathan. He's going to be able to use that first. Salamence goes for Hyper Voice next, because the Tailwind wasn't set up. Lightbird goes for Snarl, so we're going to say goodbye to this Tornadus. Kyogre now at -1 special attack, and not at full health, so Water Spout going to do very little if it goes for it. And there it is, so, yeah. Kyogre definitely kind of showed its slow nature is not gonna really help it. You know, just in general, Kyogre with Primal Kyogre isn't as fast as we like to see. You know, or these players like to see, especially coming off of Choice Scarf Kyogre. That's one of the ones where it's like, okay, you have to get into a different mindset playing Primal Kyogre compared to Choice Scarf Kyogre. This is one of those mindsets. As we see Groudon come onto the field, and now we're going to be first off the Intimidate from Jonathan's side, which is going to cripple Double Edge if Salamence is carrying that, and any physical attack like Precipice Blades or Rock Slide from Groudon as it Primal evolves. So, now Jonathan, I think he still's got a decent shot at taking, especially this turn. Unless the Salamence is carrying Protect, I think it's going to go down this turn if Kyogre has any Ice attack, maybe Ice Beam or something, probably Ice Beam. But we did see Blizzard earlier, so, you know, from a different match. So, Blizzard or Ice Beam, that's going to do a lot of damage on the Salamence and just pretty much get rid of it for good. We have Fake Out from Jonathan's side on his Incineroar, and we're going to see Salamence switch out. So, yeah, no surprise Allan's scared of that possible Ice Beam. Going into Nihilego, and that's going to be very useful for not getting rid of that Incineroar. Fake Out onto the Groudon, making sure it won't move. There's the Ice Beam there, as expected. So, yeah, that was definitely targeting that Salamence slot. The Ice Beam does very little onto Nihilego, which is... Nihilego's not very fragile at all, unless it's dealing with a physical attack. So, I wouldn't be surprised if that's possibly Assault Vest as well, or Kyogre maybe doesn't have as much bulk invested, because that would do a very little bit. But in this case, the faster Pokemon going to be on Jonathan's side here, thanks to that Tailwind. I don't know if Incineroar is going to be able to outspeed Groudon, which is going to be a bit unfortunate. And also, we don't know. I don't know if Kyogre has Protect, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jonathan switching out to try and use Intimidate later. But he's actually going to switch out Kyogre, try and reset the rain. You know, either one of those plays is good. But we are going to see Xerneas now in play. Actually, interesting to see Xerneas right off the bat, or right here at least, because A, Sludge Bomb, and we see that Sludge Bomb just connected to Xerneas right away, and B, Precipice Blades. I mean, that's a tough combo. You're going to go down either way when it came to that left slot, but you did have... It's unfortunate for Jonathan to lose that Xerneas, but I think it was necessary to reset the Kyogre, because you weren't going to get another chance, except for this one, to reset that Kyogre. And now, Incineroar has a decent shot, and we see U-turn. So actually, you're going to get the best of both worlds. Get the Rain reset, get the Fake Out and Intimidate, and now you have a really good position if you're Jonathan. I think we know Groudon and Nihilego, and we know Salamence is in the back there. So with that in mind, I still think now with the Water Spout, not with -1 special attack, though it is around 70% max damage, Primordial Sea is going to be able to do a good amount on that. And of course, we're going to see the Intimidate. I would not be surprised. I think we have to see that Groudon switch out if Allan wants to win this match. And in that case, it's going to be a battle between them, a battle of luck, essentially, because Precipice Blades versus Jonathan's combo, it's pretty tough to avoid that because you can't get hit with a water attack from Kyogre. But at the same time, Precipice Blades, it should be able to hit unless if it hits it, should be able to knock out. But if it keeps missing, you can take Ice Beam after Ice Beam, and that might be extremely tough to come back from. So, especially if you get frozen. So we'll see how that ends up. I don't see Nihilego really surviving the turn unless it uses Protect. Yeah, that's interesting. Not Assault Vested. There's that. And Groudon going to Protect as well. Going to stall off the Tailwind here. In that case, Nihilego might be fastest on the field, Groudon might be fastest on the field, or Kyogre could be fastest on the field. It depends on each Pokemon's nature. Nihilego, again, it took a lot less damage than I had expected from the Ice Beam, so it could be bulk invested in special attack. It does have to watch out for Incineroar that way, but if not, it should be fastest. It could knock out this Incineroar with a Power Gem. It depends on Incineroar set as well. But the obvious play here, we knew that Groudon was gone. There's no way that I was going to survive in this turn. And we see a Z Crystal come out. Rocknium Z. So that's the Nihiligo's item there. Or Nihiligo's item. And that is going to unleash a very strong attack. Continental Crush. And you know, the thing with this is, if you target the Incineroar, you do knock it out, which you see here. But you could have gone either way. Targeting Kyogre, you could cripple it enough where you really... Actually, at this point, Incineroar is definitely the better play. But you could have crippled Kyogre and gotten rid of the rain for good. But with Groudon in the back, Kyogre versus Groudon, not going to end well. We see Origin Pulse from Kyogre. That Origin Pulse is going to connect with both. Gets rid of Nihiligo, but Salamon's going to live it down. And now I think... Ooh, this is actually a relatively tough position. It is Groudon and Salamence versus Kyogre. Here's the thing with this, though. Like I said, it's going to come down to luck here. Now, Groudon's... Unless it's carrying Stomping Tantrum, Precipice Blades is pretty much its most powerful move. And, you know, with Kyogre at that little health, it could probably take a single Precipice Blade. So, and Kyogre could just keep spamming that Ice Beam to try and freeze Groudon and get rid of it. So, Salamon's going to protect this turn, wants to kind of stall at Kyogre and get that one hit that it needs from Precipice Blades. There's the first miss. And, you know, and we actually see Ice Beam connect with the Groudon here, so... And that's going to do a good amount of damage. So, like I said, the reason I'm saying that it's not over, even though it looks very bleak for Jonathan, is that chance of that miss. You know, Precipice Blades is one of the most... A lot of people get mad at Precipice Blades because it can be unfortunate at the worst times. But, you know, it doesn't even matter because we're going to see that double-edged knockout this Kyogre anyway. Does get rid of Salamence, and Groudon's the last Pokemon remaining on the field. Belongs to Allan Martinez, who takes the game. But, you know, if the Kyogre lived down the double edge, I wouldn't have even been surprised if Jonathan would have been able to take it just because he's on stream. And matches on stream just don't have good luck. I mean, we saw Nature's Madness, I think, miss 3 times earlier. I wouldn't even be surprised if Precipice Blades would do the same thing. But, you know, Allan definitely played it right. He was able to get into a good position with his last 2, Salamence and Groudon. And now it's perfect to the point where he is... a match ahead. So let's get into game 2. So for adjustments to this match, it's a bit tricky because you know that the Tailwind's coming, so you can't really get rid of Tornadus or Kyogre. The reason it's tough is because Allan has a couple things we haven't seen. So Tapu Lele, which will really be able to stop Taunt, and especially Tapu Lele Liepard is a hard counter onto Tornadus, because you can really just, if you really need to taunt, fake out, make sure that Tornadus doesn't get to go. But at the same time, you don't get to set up your own Tailwind, and maybe you want to attack instead of taunt. So, you know, I feel like Jonathan's strategy worked out, but now that Allan knows that he's also going for Tailwind, he is going to go Tornadus. That's what he decided. Now it's tough to counter that. Or sorry, now it's easy to counter it. It's tough to beat that. Liepard, the reason I really like Liepard on stream is because it is, like I said, it's one of the most underrated for me. I think it's got such a use, and especially in this format, and Allan proved that he won a match with it. He could go undefeated if he wins this with Liepard. But that's why I'm thinking, like, I really want to see what more it can do. We saw the fake out, we saw fake tears. So what else can it do? What else does it have? It's just a fun Pokemon to watch for me. So we'll see what goes into it. If they bring it into this match. And there's that combination, Tornadus, Kyogre. Nihiligo, Salamence from Allan's side. So, interesting, because no fake out possibility. I think we might end up with an even trade-off here. I can see Allan going straight up Rocknium Z onto the Tornadus. We do see the Primal Reversion. And as well, we did see the Intimidate from Salamence earlier. Not that it really matters with these 2 special attacks, but that is just something I want to point out as well. But Nihiligo could go Rocknium Z, get rid of Tornadus right off the bat, but then at the same time, Kyogre essentially has a good knockout on either one of Allan's Pokemon. If it goes Water Spout, gets rid of Nihiligo. If it goes Ice Beam, gets rid of Salamence. So I think we'll see the double Tailwind, but at the same time, I think it's going to equalize each other. They'll both lose a single Pokemon here, but that's what it looks like. Unless they played smart, unless they pull like some sort of strategy that I can think of, like taunt. At the same time, you're probably still going to lose both Pokemon in this case. Salamence goes straight up double edge onto this Kyogre. Which is a good amount of damage on that thing. We saw it do a lot of damage last time. And there's the Rock, the MZ that we were expecting. So, like I said, I think we're going to see an even trade-off here. We do know Salamence can't use Tailwind. Nihilego going to get rid of this Tornadus, unless, of course, this Tornadus is able to hang on. If it's a bulky one, we've seen some bulky ones take some stuff. I don't think it can take the Z Crystal. It might be Focus Dash. No, it's not. It's gone. So now I'm down to Kyogre. So if it goes Water Spout, there's a shot it will be able to knock out this Nihilego. We know it's got Rocky MZ and it's weak to water, so that's going to be the knockout there. And now that's what they're going to do. Could have gone Ice Beam onto Salamence as well, but this is the overall better shot. Oh! Nihilego took that. Very well, actually. From a... Oh, well, you know why? Double Edge on Kyogre. Yeah. So that was useful. Origin Pulse probably would have been the better move in that case, with Salamence outspeeding. We are going to see a Amoonguss on the field. First time we're seeing that today. And yeah, you could look now, that Origin Pulse, I think, what would that be with the Water Spout earlier? Not a lot. Not a lot. But with Amoonguss on the field, it brings a whole new level of strategy because you do get that follow me. But at the same time, a double edge. Goodbye, Amoonguss. It's tough because I think Amoonguss is in a really rough spot with the Salamence. And I think maybe if it's carrying Protect, it would be very wise to just protect it right off the bat and target Salamence to get rid of it. The only issue with that is Nihilego's going to be able to go before Kyogre and pick up that knockout. So at this, especially because it's at +1 in special attack, I think it's really tough for Jonathan to be able to come back from this. Kyogre lived that Hyper Voice. Nihilego goes for Sludge Bomb. That's targeting the Amoonguss. I might have spoken too soon. Both of Jonathan survived this round. Origin Pulse coming out now with that now after he learned his mistake from earlier, or not really a mistake, but unfortunate play from earlier at the double edge. Nihilego's gone. Amoonguss goes for Spore. Salamence is sleeping. I might have spoken too soon about Jonathan not being able to come back from this because he just took control of the smash with that play. I am amazed that... Look at that! Look at the health on the field, though, okay? All reds, all around. Groudon coming out. At this point, I don't even think Groudon's going to really be able to do much thanks to that Spore. If Kyogre's got Protect, you just Spore Protect. You could go Fire Punch, but then... it's tough. You know, it actually... it's tough. It's tough. You can Precipice Blades, but Protect Precipice Blades and hope... But in this case, they want to get that Amoonguss out for good, so... I think we're going to see a swap out of this Kyogre here, especially now with that at 1 health. The only way to really make sure it comes back into play with that Rain is to swap it out, and I really am expecting that. Salamence can't really do anything. It's a sleep for this turn guaranteed. Amoonguss, if it's got Protect, would be the time to play it now. We're going to see Xerneas come back in for its second helping. It was basically used as sacrifice last time. This time it might as well be a... we don't know. We're going to see Eruption from this Groudon, and that is going to be able to get the Xerneas down to red. Knock out the Amoonguss. So Amoonguss, and Salamance's taunt is gone, so Tailwind, if it comes back, Tailwind's a possibility, but you know what? At the same time, this Groudon should be very scared. It's going to come down to speed. It really is going to come down to speed here. Because if Groudon's able to outspeed and hit this Precipice Blades, boom, the match is over, and it's going to go to Allan. But if this Kyogre does outspeed, and I don't think we've seen both of these guys on the same field where we could judge their speed right away, then go for that Origin Pulse. If it hits both, you set up your Xerneas, and Jonathan's going to take it. So this is really a matter of speed. That's all I can say here. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. Salamence... Actually, you know what? Salamence, if it wakes up this turn, could also get rid of that Kyogre before anything, so it's also a matter of luck. Salamence was asleep the last turn, but it can wake up now, so... Low chance of it waking up this turn. And Jonathan definitely wants it to not, so... And then also you got a Origin Pulse. Oh! But I spoke too soon! Every time I say that today, on this match specifically, every time I say there's a low chance of that happening, it happens. First, it was Kyogre surviving that attack, the Hyper Voice at its health, and then Salamence waking up. So in that case, you know, Allan took that match. And again, I told you it was a matter of speed and a matter of luck. And because Salamence was fastest, and because it was able to wake up, it was able to take the match. And Allan gonna take his team undefeated 3-0. So he's got a really good shot already. That's usually the range. You need to get 3-0 to hit top 8. So you might see him later on stream in the top 8, but Pikachu wants you to stay to watch round 4, isn't that right? So stick around and watch round 4 later.